Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It's morning here in Pennsylvania. How have you all been? How have you all been? How you doing? Good. I myself have been well. No, I haven't done shit, anything to report show-wise or anything. So, not since the last video, seeing Mortician out in Jersey. So a couple things coming up. Excuse me, Deicide's coming up next month. There's like, I might go to Undergang on Friday in Philly. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. There's some other stuff coming up too. In Northampton, Pennsylvania. Disma and Evoken, October 12th. Okay, moving right along. The record I want to talk about today. Morbid Angel. Morbid Angel. Why are we talking about Morbid Angel? Well, I start doing deep dives in bands and stuff, and especially this like early thrash to death metal thing, and early death metal and the 80s death metal, and Chuck Schuldiner in 1987 with the, Scream Bloody Gore or Possessed or whatever, right? Well, I've always seen Abominations of Desolation. I've always seen that. It's kind of their unofficial first album. Trey didn't want to release it. A little bit lower fi than he maybe anticipated. But then they held off until Thy Kingdom Come demo and then Authors of Madness. What I never saw before was this thing. It's really bad glare. All right. Yeah. Abominations of Desolation. This thing popped up in my YouTube feed, and I was like, well, that's an interesting cover. What the hell is that? And then I did some homework on it, and I found one on Discogs. Yeah. And this thing is basically a rip off the master tape. Basically what Trey brought home. The story is Earache kind of mastered it or remixed it or did something to it. This is like the original one that was going around on tape trading and stuff like that. People had like awful 10th generation copies of it, out in Europe or whatever happens, back in the early tape trading days of the 80s and 90s. But this thing kind of also tells the story of Morbid Angel in a very nice, concise fashion. What I did not know, which probably most of you know, but I did not know, and I found it pretty impressive, is that Mike Browning that plays drums on this, and he sings on it, and you're okay, well, yeah, he sang. But no, then I saw shows and rehearsals on YouTube this week, and he's singing and playing this stuff, and it's 1986, and they're playing like, pretty, I don't know, it looks like a fair or something. I don't know what the hell's going on. It doesn't look like Morbid Angel should be playing it, but they are, and they're like, spikes and all this other shit, and you can't see Browning singing too much, but then you see he's got the headpiece, and it's an awesome YouTube video. But then it talks about how Trey wanted to move along and that Browning wasn't the right guy for the later upcoming Morbid Angel stuff. From Browning's words, he goes and starts Nocturnus. And then Trey and David Vincent, who was actually supposed to release this at first, he wasn't even in the picture as the band, but I guess Trey and him took the band to North Carolina, where they got Wayne Hartzell, and the Thy Kingdom Come demo comes out, and that is some impressive stuff too. It is maybe a hair step up in drumming, but this is like really intense, impressive stuff. If you think 1986, you know, uh, and I'm going to go off the rails here, but I hear this talked about a lot. Okay. Now, I wasn't there in 1985 when this came out. I was too young. I honestly, Possessed wasn't even in my circle of bands up in the late 80s and early 90s. I would see this as a kid, but I don't know why I didn't buy it. It just wasn't in the group's zeitgeist, if you will, of my teenage friends. Nobody talked about this. And the older guys that we hung out with didn't talk about this. I didn't pick this up until maybe I was like 19 or something, in 94, maybe 93. And to this day, I still feel like this. I understand why people that made death metal consider this death metal. You can hear it in Becerra. You can hear some of the riff stuff, right? To me, this is a dark thrash album, and it feels like that. It always did to me. You know, that the drumming holds back on this for me. That's what lags this. Coming from Slayer, listening to Slayer, oh yeah, Slayer's not nearly Possessed. Okay, well, Hell Awaits is still some intimidating shit, and the drumming on that is insane. So when I heard this sound clunky. Not taken away from the atmosphere. I understand all of it. Because if I probably heard this, if I was 15 in 85, I probably would feel different, but I don't. I heard this too late to appreciate it to the effect. However, this is not held back by anything. There's not any weak links in it. Except for possibly, the production being a little flat, and I understand. But if you just listen to it, even take it in as like a demo, like the way Trey intended, or was going to reduce it to a demo, which is why he never really released it. You get to hear all these songs in the original form, and some of these songs, I mean, Chapel of Ghouls is on here, Angel of Disease. They're recording that in '93 on this thing. Sorry to break out the CDs, but I don't have this on LP yet. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I did just get it. That's insane. I forgot I bought it. Anyway, yeah, Angel of Disease is on this already in 1986. So what my point is when you put this on, especially if you make a mistake and turn it on side B first, the gate, the intro for the gate and the Lord of all fevers and plagues, like this is a death metal. This is death metal. I mean, this is to me like thrash metal, but dark with that, and I hear the pre-death metal. 1 year later, this is not thrash. There's thrash guitar and stuff in it, of course, making up the riffs, but make no mistakes, nobody's going to put this on and be like, oh, this is like Hell Awaits or Pleasure to Kill. Not taken away from those records. Those are my favorite records, but this is different. I don't know. If I feel like if I put this on in 1986, it would have probably scared the shit out of me more than Hell Awaits even. I don't know. I don't know. But hearing this at my age now, and on this vinyl, and seeing the Morbid Angel early rehearsals, even the 1987 rehearsal on YouTube with David Vincent singing, playing guitar, you can tell that band is not joking around, man. Their rehearsals are extremely professional. They're emulating playing the show. There's like the drums are on a riser, the full stacks are next to it. They're facing away from the drums and playing perfect sets without even not talking in between, just going through songs. Like you can tell the work ethic of that band, and why they were maybe not settling. They were going to be the most intense, and I think it's captured here. But yeah, that's how I feel about it. This needs to be in the conversation for if we're going to talk about early death metal. This needs to be in the conversation. And this is early everything, man. This is, I understand that the Scandinavian guys, it started, Euronymous and all these guys in Scandinavia, Dark Throne guys and all that. They all love this. I get it. I get it now. I heard the earache version years ago, but it is cool to have this vinyl. You could probably score it. But anyway, that's my take on Morbid Angel, 1986. Morbid Angel, always. And Shallow 666. Yeah.